Since Kim Jong-un took over in 2011, the number of people leaving North Korea has dropped significantly. Nowadays, North Korea is like a huge prison that's hard to escape from. In 2011, when Kim Jong-un died, 2,706 people left North Korea. The next year, the number fell to 1,502, and by 2020, only 229 people had managed to leave. According to North Korean government messages, this decrease is because Kim Jong-un has made the country so good that nobody wants to leave, but the real situation is much harsher. Governments that control everything fear the most when their leaders change, and Kim Jong-un knew this well. Even before he officially became the leader, he was already making sure he would take over his father's role, getting rid of anyone who could challenge him and making sure those who could help him stayed close, often by giving them expensive gifts as a sign of his favor. After his father's death, Kim Jong-un quickly made sure he was seen as the rightful leader of North Korea. He got rid of many high-ranking officials, including some of his own family, claiming it was to fight corruption or betrayal. However, these actions were mainly to remove anyone who could threaten his position. Right from the start, Kim Jong-un also had to deal with another big issue: people trying to leave North Korea. When a new leader takes over, it can be a chance for others to try to take control, sometimes even by force. Kim Jong-un was worried the United States may try to remove him. To prevent this, he wanted to show the world that he was in charge of a stable and happy North Korea. He thought if his country looked well off, the US wouldn't dare to interfere, even though the US had no plans to do so. But Kim Jong-un was always worried about losing his power. To improve North Korea's image, he focused on stopping people from fleeing the country. Under his father's rule, more and more people were leaving North Korea, and they often spoke out against the regime on South Korean TV. This information even reached North Koreans through illegal internet or radios, despite the risks. Kim Jong-un, his father, didn't seem too bothered by these defectors, but Kim Jong-un couldn't ignore them. One of his first actions was to make it harder to cross into South Korea. Before some people managed to get past the barriers and mines to escape, Kim Jong-un slightly increased the number of guards at the border, careful not to cause too much alarm in South Korea or with its ally, the US. He knew many who escaped were actually guards, so adding too many could backfire by increasing defections. Instead, Kim Jong-un upgraded the border security with better fences and barriers to stop vehicles from breaking through. Although the heavily guarded DMZ was the most direct way out, it wasn't the most common route because of the intense security, making it hard for civilians to get close. It was mainly an option for military personnel who were already there or could pretend to have a reason to be near the border. North Korea's main route for people trying to leave the country has always been its border with China, which is over 880 miles, 1,400 kilometers long. The border is marked by the Yalu, or Two-Men Rivers, and has 25 official crossing points. These crossings are vital for North Korea to access global markets. Although China is supposed to enforce laws against illegal trade, it often ignores smuggling activities from North Korea, including weapon sales to other countries. This trade is crucial for North Korea's economy, and China prefers to avoid the collapse of North Korea and a possible unification under South Korea, which might lean toward the US. While these official crossings are closely watched and require thorough checks for anyone from North Korea to try to enter China, the remote areas along the border are less secure. In these areas, people have managed to cross the river into China using homemade rafts or with the help of international supporters in motorboats. Civilian traffic on the river is allowed, but Chinese boats are advised to avoid the North Korean side. However, things started to change in the mid-2000s. The increasing number of people leaving North Korea began to pressure the Chinese government politically. The visibility of North Korean defectors also made China's close ties with North Korea problematic internationally. As China aimed to enhance its global standing, the issue of North Korean defectors became a concern for them too. To address this, China shifted border security responsibilities from local police to the military and significantly improved security measures. This upgrade included high-security fences and concrete barriers along common escape routes, more patrols by the vast Chinese army, and strict actions against North Korean defectors reminiscent of harsh historical laws. The introduction of new laws resulted in immediate deportation for illegal North Korean immigrants found in China and severe consequences for anyone caught helping North Korean defectors. Despite heightened security, the extensive border remains challenging to fully secure, and some observers believe crossing it might still be possible. Yet the decline in North Korean defectors since 2011 suggests otherwise. Kim Jong-un's early efforts included tightening security along the border with China. This meant not just better surveillance, but also addressing the long-standing issue of corruption among border guards. Previously, guards could be easily bribed by both defectors and smugglers, a symptom of widespread poverty and food scarcity among North Korean soldiers. While high-ranking officials enjoyed perks like cash cards to guarantee their loyalty, ordinary soldiers struggled to meet basic needs, sometimes resorting to farming. Under Kim Jong-un, the approach to border security grew stricter. Officers known for their strictness were placed in charge of border areas, and the penalties for soldiers caught accepting bribes were intensified. The corruption that had once been an open secret, with officers taking a share of the bribes, was now met with severe punishments even for high-ranking officers. To enhance patrol capabilities, new roads were constructed, allowing for better access to previously remote areas, and river patrols were increased. North Korea also began building fences along its border, facing the same logistical and financial challenges as China in trying to secure such a lengthy boundary. Despite these extensive efforts, completely stopping people from leaving North Korea proved impossible. The focus shifted towards deterrence. Public punishment of potential defectors served as a stark warning to others considering escape, highlighting the regime's commitment to control and the high risks associated with attempting to flee. The punishment for trying to leave North Korea can be incredibly severe, often resulting in a life sentence in one of the country's harsh prison camps. These camps are notorious for their brutal conditions, where inmates face extreme labor and receive minimal food, leading to death for many, even if they don't have a life sentence. Moreover, North Korean law allows for the punishment of up to 3 generations of a defector's family for one person's crime. This means a defector might not only risk their own life, but also the lives of their parents and children, trapping them in a cycle of punishment based on the belief that it takes 3 generations to eliminate evil. Despite these harsh realities, during Kim Jong-un's leadership, there have been efforts to persuade defectors living abroad to return to North Korea. North Korean agents have been known to contact defectors, offering them freedom from punishment, along with incentives such as free housing, a stable job, and even a cash bonus, sometimes amounting to $44,000. This approach is part of Kim Jong-un's counter-propaganda campaign. The few who accept these offers often appear on North Korean television, praising the leader and criticizing life outside North Korea. The question arises, why would anyone consider going back to such a repressive regime? The reasons vary and can include a combination of coercion, false promises, and perhaps a hope or belief that things might have changed or will improve. The emotional pull of reuniting with family members left behind can also be a powerful motivator, despite the known risks and the oppressive nature of the regime. Defectors from North Korea may escape to the south seeking freedom, but they often encounter significant obstacles once there. Many lack the skills or education needed for well-paying jobs, leaving them to take lower-paying positions. They also face prejudice similar to immigrants elsewhere, and although they receive some financial help from the government to start anew, this assistance is quite small. Struggling with financial issues and missing their families, who they may never see again, some defectors find the offer of amnesty from the North, despite being used for propaganda, appealing. The COVID-19 pandemic saw North Korea enforcing strict movement restrictions, which, given its authoritarian regime, were easier to implement than in less controlled societies. These restrictions made it incredibly difficult for would-be defectors to even reach the border. While over 1,000 people managed to defect in 2019, the numbers plummeted to just around 230 in 2020. The following years saw even fewer successful defections, with only 63 in 2021 and 67 in 2022, illustrating the impact of the pandemic and the government's tight control on the movement of its citizens. So what do you think? What does it truly take for someone to decide to leave everything behind, knowing the risks involved and the uncertain future that awaits them? And for those of us looking in from the outside, what can we do to better understand and help those that make the brave decision to seek a new life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Click here to watch other great videos, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating videos.